Extra 1063 and a second chance bail bonds are here to back your blue. Back Your Blue highlights special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Join a second chance bail bond CEO Daniel Matalon and host Tug Coward to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Now it's time to back your blue on Extra 1063 FM and the Extra 1063 app.
Welcome to Back Your Blue on Extra 1063. My name is Tug Coward, along with my co-host, Daniel Matalon. He is the CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, doing good work in the community. That's what you're all about. That's what you support, and that's what you do. That's the reason we're doing this show. Ain't that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's so good to be able to talk about positive things in the community because, man, if you turn on the news at night, the only thing you're going to see is negativity. And so we try to do our best to bring positive stories to the air, positive stories to media, positive stories to people's radio and their ears. And today, our guest is Jeff Wood. He's the chairman of the Cobb County Neighborhood Safety Commission. And we also have Zachary Hiatt. He is new to the commission and will have some great input on what he's seen, what he wants to help and improve, and the things in the community that he wants to make better. But we'll start with you, Jeff. How are you today, man?
I'm doing great, thank you, and thanks, Daniel, for your support and for making this opportunity available to us.
Yeah, man, it's always a pleasure to have good folks in with us. How long have you been with the Neighborhood Safety Commission?
Okay, so now, let's see. I started when I was 6 years old.
So, man, I feel like this is like the movie Elf. Like when you go, we're going way back.
Yeah. So actually, the Safety Commission was founded in 1999, and I came on board just a couple years after its inception.
Okay.
And so it was founded by the Board of Commissioners, 15 members from the community, acting as liaisons between public safety, because they have a lot of things to do, right, and citizens and businesses. So what we do is we look for opportunities, new ideas, new thoughts on how to, look for new ways to make our community safer, right? Not to burden public safety with new work like, oh, hey, we've got a new report for you to fill out or something like that. Nothing like that. It's really looking for, in today's environment, how do we do community policing better? So how do we find those people that really need help, but we may not have been able to help them because they're out there, not really in direct contact in a good way with public safety.
Okay. Yeah, I'm reading this, and it says established to assist in efforts to promote safer communities, safer neighborhoods, both residential and business communities, as well as to gain access to local and community or increase local community involvement, identify new resources to strengthen existing programs and safety programs. And there are 15 members who represent the areas of business, industry, community, and civic organizations throughout Cobb County. A good summary of what y'all do?
It is, and I can give you an example from
please.
Several years ago, and this just really goes to the heart of where people coming together, taking a look at a situation and coming up with a better plan. Again, not burdening, but actually making things better. So it was the false alarm ordinance. And so a lot of people that live in Cobb County or do business in Cobb County really know about that. They kind of know that it's the 3 strikes now. It's like you get three strikes and it's okay, and then after that you're going to start to pay. But at the time, what we had gone around to the different police precincts and the fire battalions and whatever, and just really asked the people in charge, the majors, the battalion chief, or whatever, is like, what's the biggest thing on your mind? And we're thinking breaking and entering, drugs, whatever, right? And they said, false alarms. We went, what's the deal with false alarms, right?
Why is this such a big deal?
Why is this such a big deal?
I hear people's car alarms going off all the time.
Exactly. No big deal, right? Just walk past, put the earbuds in.
That's right.
But it really does take a great deal of time. There are a couple of instances. One is, let's say, at a public school. These things are huge now, right? Every time a window opens up, someone forgets to close the door. The guy who's delivering the bread, someone who's doing the milk, 15 minutes later, they close the door. It wasn't all the way closed. Opens up, the wind comes. Well, public safety, they have to roll the fire truck every time for a school, no matter if it's 3 a.m.
Seems like that would get expensive.
And time consuming, right? So
and
then
that too, yeah.
And the police have to come. Then they have to actually walk around the whole circumference each time that they come. It doesn't matter how many times that evening. So in some cases, it was happening 11 or 12 times per school.
Wow. And how many schools are there?
High schools, there are 5, but then middle.
Oh, yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
There's a lot.
There's
right? Yeah, and they're just a big
dozen or more
acreage, right? So they're walking around with their flashlights, looking at things, whatever. So it's taking a tremendous amount of time, and it's although everyone likes to get exercise, that's not what public safety is really thinking that they're going to work for each day, right? It's to help you and I and our businesses and what have you. So another example was kind of these quickie marts. Their gas station, and you got some, food and things like that. They may not be in the best, all of them in the best neighborhoods or whatever. And someone was, some of these owners were a little bit, tight with their money, didn't want to really get security, didn't want to get security cameras or anything like that. But they did put in an alarm system, which they pulled each night. Let's say at 2 a.m., it would be that quickie mart at that corner, 2 a.m., they pull it just to have the police come over. And it was every night, right? And so then 4 a.m. comes around, they do it again, right? So there were no consequences. So what we did is, as the NSC said, hey, look, we're now starting to get an understanding of what the problem is. Let us go back, do some research from across the country. So we looked at other municipalities, other counties and what have you, and said, what are people doing? And it was a long process, but worked with the commissioners as well as the public safety officials to come up with actual legislation.
So a lot of research, a lot of time, and a lot of effort goes into making a safe community, whether it's the commission, whether it's the police department, the sheriff's department, whomever it is. It's always very, very time consuming. It's always and can be very, very expensive. And now you guys are there to try to make sure it just makes sense, like the way that the community interacts. Like you said, with the example you had of the gentleman just pulling the alarm, that's not benefiting anybody. It's saving him a few bucks on, cameras and not having to pay for those, I suppose. But it's not a benefit to the community to have the officers out knowing what is going on. So to be able to correct that and to put your heads together. How long did it take to get that one thing in motion, the old 3 strikes?
That one it actually literally took a few years. So from start to finish, it did take a long time because there was a lot of revisions. And then you get down to the details. So let's say if it was, we decided upon just looking at the country, like, okay, it should be 3. It's not 1, right? But sure. It wasn't like 12. People were like, right. Oh, no, I should have like 12, right? Yeah. No, it's 3. We found 3. And then it was like, okay, who's going to collect the money? Who's going to send out the bills? Nobody's set up for that, right? So
did y'all get a square? Did you put it on top of your cell phones? You collect the credit
while
card.
We're here, let's take care of this charge right now. And did you want to leave a tip?
That's right. Yeah, because by golly, everybody wants a tip nowadays. It doesn't matter what you do, man. The tip thing is out of control. And that's another thing. I could get off on a tangent. We could talk about that for 48 minutes. I'm telling you, I could go off on that one for a while. But anyway, So and what did you decide? How do you collect that? Who does go out there? So, is it a bill in the mail? How does that work?
Yeah, it is a bill in the mail, and it's outsourced, right, to a company that actually does that. It's similar to if you live in Cobb County and if you followed the parking lot situation with the parking garages, the deckers, and all that kind of stuff. Is like, guess what? The county is just not really the right place to do that. Right, to administer a parking lot. It is not the right place to administer these types of citations and things like that, which is out of the norm of a sort of a standard process, which involves the courts, right?
Yeah.
So this doesn't.
More of a curiosity here. What happens to somebody if they decide not to pay it?
The consequences go up.
Okay. Yeah. The cost.
The cost goes up, yeah.
And then ultimately, does it, like, Is it is there some sort of lien? I mean, what happens? I'm at this point, I'm just curious.
Yeah. I'm not actually sure. I don't think that we've really run into that.
Okay,
so
good. Well, that's a good thing. That's
actually
great.
If you looked at the year before and the year after, the false alarms plummeted.
Yeah.
Like you finally put in something. It's like people didn't fight it. Like they go, "Oh, I didn't realize."
Oh, my bad.
Yep. Sorry about that. I didn't realize. And especially if you have an opportunity to explain. So you just had 3 at your house, and you go like, "What was that big deal?" Right? That wasn't a big deal. Then you explain, "Here's what's happening across the county," and they go, "I don't want to be paying for that."
Yeah, I remember when that came out in our office. I was like, "Listen, this is be mindful because we're 24/7. They leave, turn the alarm on to go to the jail, stuff like that."
Yeah,
it's like be mindful, of that type of stuff. So.
It was just common courtesy, right? I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. Do right by your community, common courtesy, just to do the right thing.
Yeah.
It seems to be so obvious, but sometimes I guess it doesn't always work that way. But I know that you're a part of the Elder Abuse Task Force and then the Cobb County Youth Safety Program. Something near and dear to your heart? Is that why you got involved in those specifically?
So for the Elder Abuse Task Force, actually, when I became chair the first time, 163 years ago, was the first meeting. A gentleman from the NSC came into the meeting and asked me, what's the county doing for elder abuse? And at that particular point in time, I, said, I have no idea. We can ask, right? So we went actually literally to all the commissioners and said, what do you know and how have you been impacted at all, if at all, right, by elder abuse? Each and every one of the commissioners had a story once you asked them.
Yeah.
Then we went to the sheriff, the DA's office, the solicitor generals, everyone, sort of, and then broadened it out to fire and then to some cities and state entities and asked the question, like, what happens, and kind of got into the details of it because there wasn't a flow and there wasn't a process that people could share information. And then personally, after that as I was going through that, once you're sensitized to it, then you see unfortunately, elder abuse all over the place.
Okay, well, hold that thought. We're going to come back after this break, and we're talking to Jeff Wood. He's the chairman of the Cobb County Neighborhood Safety Commission. We've got Zachary Hiatt. He is on the commission as well. And, of course, Daniel Matalon, he's on the board for the commission. He's the CEO of a Second Chance Bail Bonds, just putting positive light on positivity, the things that matter in our community. We'll continue that conversation next on Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3.
This is Back Your Blue, presented by A Second Chance Bail Bonds, live on Extra 106.3 FM and streaming for free anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Welcome back to Back Your Blue with the folks at A Second Chance Bail Bonds. Daniel Matalon, he is the CEO, and he's the reason that this show even exists. Just bringing positivity to the community, just talking about things that matter, things that are going well. If you flip on the news at night, man, there's not a lot going well, or at least it doesn't seem that way. To be able to talk about some of the things that are going well and things that we are getting accomplished. We've got Jeff Wood. He is the chairman of the Cobb County Neighborhood Safety Commission. We also have Zachary Hiatt. He is the vice chair, new to the commission, but the vice chair, man, dude, you just jumped in like feet first. I mean, you didn't waste any time, man. You took up a title and everything.
Yeah, it kind of just got sprung on me a little bit by Jeff here. But
okay. Now we get to the truth. Boy, it didn't take you long.
I'm happy to do it. So, I mean, the community definitely needs more engagement, so we're happy to be there for them.
No, that's awesome. And when we finished off the last segment, you were talking about the Elder Abuse Task Force and how once you realized that some of these things were happening, then you're like, wow, holy cow, I'm seeing this more than I want to, more than I should. What do you do from there? How do you correct that?
Yeah, for us, it was really bringing together the resources, and it became a task force. So we started it at the Neighborhood Safety Commission. And then after several years, what we did is I actually passed it off to Vic Reynolds, who at the time was the district attorney, then became GBI, and now he's over here as a Superior Court judge. But Vic became more and more, and his team, of course, were very important in prosecuting these things. But before you prosecute, you have to get the whole game together. And I was actually with a number of the folks, one of the former police chiefs here in Marietta, Dan Flynn, yesterday, talking about some of the cases that we have. And it's really about coordination, not only just here in Marietta, in Cobb County, but also with Atlanta. Criminals don't know that they're supposed to stay within one jurisdiction.
Right, exactly.
Like, oh, wait a minute, I did the crime over here. I shouldn't really go to Atlanta now? Is that it? No. Wait, look at. So we're all talking together all the way up to a federal level, because some of a lot of these are financial crimes, right? So they're physical, financial, institutional. Financial side of things are about 50% of elder abuse cases. 50% of those are by family members.
Oh, my Lord.
And so there are a lot of hurdles. Atlanta Regional Commission and APS and everybody, all these folks come together and share information legally within their bounds, right, of secrecy and privacy and all that kind of stuff. But sharing information across the case that can help, oh, I didn't realize you were working on that, or a prosecutor might say, hey, this is the way we got to sentence this person, XYZ 1, 2, 3. This was the process that we went through. You might want to take a look at that, because some of these are small towns around the area, and they don't necessarily have all the resources that either Cobb County has, or some of the background that they have, or the state of Georgia has, or some of the federal folks.
Okay. And Zachary, though new to the commission, you also are a part of a program with middle school kids and their parents and safety.
Yeah.
Explain that to me.
Yeah, so the main goal for the Neighborhood Safety Commission with our youth safety program that we're doing right now is to provide a level of, like, I'm trying to think of the best word. Basically, we're providing a service for the community. And so we're engaging these kids and their families to come out once a month to Pearson Middle School, where we'll have a dinner for them. And then we're trying to put those children in different pathways. So when we talk about, the gang activity that's really strong in the community, it's also strong in the school system as well. And so if we can find a good pathway for those kids to be on prior to getting to high school, the ability for them to graduate and then move on to either college or a role like as a firefighter or a police officer or something like that is much greater.
Productive.
Yeah, something even better. So we're trying to find different pathways. So we've had, Boy Scouts have been interested. We've had, people with the police department that want to do more drone piloting. And so we're creating a lot of pathways. Like Osborne High School has one for firefighters. We actually had one student who went to Osborne, did the fire academy there, graduated, and immediately went to the Cobb County Fire Department.
Wow.
And so we're all about trying to create those pathways, because I'll be honest, I didn't go to college. I didn't go to a 4-year degree. College isn't for everybody.
I dropped out 3 times, pal. Same school.
Yeah. So, like,
dude, this is got to be a record of some sort.
Right.
I'm not kidding. I wish I were.
But, it's harder when somebody's like 18 or 19 and they have to pay for their own way, or maybe they're not living at home. So if we can give them a way to educate them now as a middle schooler, that way they can continue that education through high school in whatever pathway they want, and then that way it would set them up for success in the long term, and it would get them away from the gang activity as well.
Is that something that you saw value in and you thought, man, this is something that I want to be part of, or did you start it, or was it already there? How did you get involved with that specific outlet?
Yeah, so it was actually just kind of by just like chance, honestly.
I think
that I remember the conversation, because I had been kind of going down this pathway with the high school students and working with the high schoolers to get them involved in different things and have them help the public safety, do public service announcements, do different videos, and do different PSAs and things like that, which they've done a great job of. Elder abuse, they've done some on. And also for fire and 911, they have. But Zach came along and was in the parking lot of a high school, Osborne, as a matter of fact, right?
We were doing that Halloween thing last year.
And he said, what do you think about a dinner? And I said to Major Bullock, who's not feeling well today, so wasn't able to join, but I said, hey, Major Bullock, what do you think about, kind of pulling this together with a dinner and then getting all these surround things together. And then we met a few times in different lunch environments and things like that, kind of brought it down to getting things to the middle school and to their parents. And so now this Thursday night we have the next one, and it's really the focus is on even before you can help the child, you have to help the parents, right?
No kidding.
To get them feeling well. There's a lot of anxiety in the community in terms of, what's my status, or, there's legal things going on. I might be at a green card, but I need to get to the next, a lot of different things, driver's
probably
license.
preface that the community outside Pearson Middle School is about 89% Hispanic.
Okay.
And so they have a lot of ESOL students there. So it's a pretty big need, and we also make sure we have translators to these events as well.
Sure. Language barriers.
Yeah, of course.
For sure.
You see that in it can be just purely your business, like whatever you do for a living outside of the Cobb County Neighborhood Safety Commission. Language barrier is real.
Yeah,
it is important. Daniel, I bet you face that at a second chance bail bonds. Just having someone there that is able to speak to a family member of someone who's gotten themselves in trouble, or that person themselves, and being able to communicate and be like, I'm here to help you.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that are bilingual that work at a second chance. So yeah, it's definitely a need for sure, and a problem that we face every day, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But back to this middle school thing. Obviously my story is well documented on our website. So a lot of my issues growing up started in middle school. So here, when this topic came up, this was, it hit home, real life experience. And I think, there's nothing more important than, accessing and being able to educate these kids, and the parents for that matter, at the age of this middle school. I have a middle schooler myself. My son's in 7th grade, so I get it. And this is really cool what Jeff and Zachary have put together with this. Made it extremely easy for me to jump on board. Obviously, I'm on the commission, but I mean, I wanted to kind of even put an extra foot forward on it,
especially in that one because of how close it is to you personally.
Just right. It makes sense.
But and you're on the board as well, so you're part of the Cobb County Neighborhood Safety Commission. I mean, this is something that you do. This is another board that you're a part of, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so how long have you been there?
I have been there probably a little bit over a year, I want to say now, right, Jeff? Is that right?
Longer than that.
It's longer than that. We're getting 2 years. Time flies. Look, time flies.
We had COVID, right? So everybody gets.
Yeah, it does. It becomes a blur. You're exactly right.
That is true.
But how are you drawn in? What was it that did somebody just tap you on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, you should know about this"? Is it how did you get involved? How did you learn of it?
So it was Commissioner Jerica Richardson, who's well, I guess the zones are a little, or the districts. The districts are. It's a hot topic. We won't get into that. But anyhow, she was the commissioner in the district that I lived in, and I was involved with her early on when she was running for county commissioner in Cobb County, and we all had mutual friends, and. She came to me and was like,
"This is right up your alley."
She's like, "Is this something you would have interest in?" She basically had a handful of people in her group that she wanted to put in different positions and whatnot, or recommendations, and so I was like, "Sure." One more. Add one more.
You got a lot going on, man. You're the business guy I know.
Right. So it was like, okay, sure.
Yes.
And I met Jeff, and I can tell you this: the Neighborhood Safety Commission would not exist without Jeff. That's
quite a compliment there.
I've been around it and I've seen what he's brought to it, and honestly, we are lucky to have someone who's been as committed to this for the length of time that he has and continues to do. It's just not an easy job. So
it definitely was a pleasure to have you. Especially because I had been trying
past tense.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, I mean it's still a pleasure to have you. But let me correct myself. No, but like when I tried to do this dinner, I was trying to do a spaghetti dinner just for the community during COVID, just to provide a meal to the community that were like people wouldn't have to worry about if their kids are going to eat that night because everybody was hurting with inflation. And he was just like, well, we can do it. We can do all this stuff. And
So you were outside the commission at that point?
Oh, yeah. I was going around everywhere trying to find a location where I could do this because the organization that I work for, we're a financial organization. So we provide benefits to community. So I was able to do this. Modern Woodman. So
Okay.
I'm a financial advisor with Modern Woodman, but we have a nonprofit side. So it's a 501c8 nonprofit. And so we have endowments that we use for these programs, but I didn't have a place to host it. And that was the only problem. I couldn't find someone who would just give me a place. They all wanted money, and the purpose was to provide for the community and not try to nickel and dime everyone.
Exactly,
So he was like, we'll do it. We'll do it at a school. We'll find a school to do it. And it's just kind of taken off from there. So,
And then from there, Zachary, you came on board. Like you're like these people are actually doing things that are beneficial.
Yeah.
They're able to get things done that maybe I wasn't able to by myself.
Yeah.
And I want to further that.
Yeah. So it was interesting. So I didn't really have any intention of joining the board, to be honest. But they asked me to come to a few meetings, and I had been ingrained and like kind of in the trenches with everything that we were doing. And they did. They just kind of like pulled me in a little bit, reeled me in, and I was like, okay, I can do this.
Closer.
And then it was like 3 or 4 months later, he was like, do you want to be vice chair? And I was like, am I ready
What does
for
that
this? Am I ready for this?
What does all this entail? Because it sounds like a lot. No, but it ultimately, obviously, great heart trying to help, and then are doing it here. Going back to the kids, though, that we talked about a minute ago, what's been the reaction to the families? Because you said sometimes it's harder to get the parents involved, right?
Yes.
And that's where it all begins, as Jeff said. What's been their reaction? Have they reacted well to it? Or?
Yeah, they actually have. So the reason we chose to do it at Pearson Middle School this year is because the principal there, Dean Yoder, he has a pretty big rapport with the community already. So every month he hosts a monthly dinner for the community because most of the people live there and walk to the school. And he provides that, and he teaches them about different topics. And they've been open for 3 years, doing it for 3 years. And so I was like, well, he already has the community buy-in. So if we can just do it at this
first
school.
Step, man.
Yeah. And so
the most important.
Yeah, last month he said there were 86 people that showed up, families and individuals.
You can't get 86 people to show up anywhere for anything.
Right. And most of those people walk. Most of those people walk, and they're coming so that, they'll bring like a whole family so that you'll see like a family of 5 with 3 kids, and they'll be able to provide for those kids. And then there's always a topic. Sometimes it's about like vaping or immigration issues or like whatever the community really needs to know about. And we try to push that out to them.
I like it, man. I'm not
it's
kidding.
a lot of fun.
I'm not kidding, man. Getting 86 people to show up for anything is remarkable. I mean, we do. I mean, that's what we do for a living in broadcast is try to get people to gather in places. And though we don't, we'll throw big tailgates or whatever, and it'll be all you can eat, all you can drink, whatever you need, and sometimes people show up, and sometimes they just don't.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to know the rhyme or the reason of why people will and why they won't. But it's clear in this case that it's truly beneficial to the family.
Yeah. They definitely benefit from it. And
I just add to it is Principal Yoder, super connected, but also things that I had dreamt about and was actually working with the high schools on. He's like, oh, we already have that. So we actually, we provide the input, then he does the actual execution of it, surveys the parents of the children beforehand. And we say, hey, of all these topics, what would you be most interested in coming and having a conversation about? Again, multi-language, right? But, and so they tell us, hey, this is what I'm most interested in. And then we kind of go down the line in terms of most important. And we're going to continue to do that because things change over time. But the ability to actually reach out to the parents beforehand and say, and then go back and say, okay, here's the invitation. You said this was important to you. This is what we're going to do. We're going to cover this. And so coming up, we have some great topics. One of them, again, when you get into these things you don't know, elder abuse, like what is that? Punching old people or something like that. Like
because immediately that's what you think.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
I mean, abuse is usually when you think of abuse, it's always a physical abuse, right? Yep. I mean, Daniel, I'm sure that's probably the first thing you think of when people are in an abusive relationship. That's what happens, right?
Domestic violence. Or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And so to think that it's financial, Now, it's not that surprising once you start peeling back the layers of the onion. You're like, oh, the thing that's most disheartening about it is that what did you say, 50% of the time it's someone in their own family that is taking advantage of them financially? Because I know with my own mama, she's got to that point. She's such a wise woman. I mean, just wisdom beyond anything that I could ever hope to have. But when it comes to her phone, buddy, I'm telling you, it is like a lost cause. I mean, trying to set up her email, oh my goodness. Trying to help her, not download viruses from her email, impossible.
Yep.
Like, she's the greatest cook. She's the counselor. If I have a problem or a question, I'm going to her first about life, about real things. But if it's the computer, there's been so many times that her computer will be, a virus, or someone has, sent her an email and she clicked on the link and now all of a sudden her bank account's, something's missing from the bank or whatever.
Yep, exactly.
And so it happens so often in that. And I'm 46 and technology's passing me by. I used to be the person in my house that was like, oh, I can set up the printer. I can set up your email. I can set up the new computer. I'm all good. I got this. It's all good. We're good.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't want to do those things now. They're too complicated.
I can't. Zachary, I can't do them. I would like to, but I can't. Like, it's passed me by. Like, I feel like the world has passed me. I'm like, hang on, I'm supposed to be the guy that I thought just 3 years ago was me doing this. Now I have to call my kid. He's in school in Charleston. I'll call him and be like, hey, have you ever seen this pop up on your phone before? Have you ever seen this pop up on your computer before? And he's either yes or no, but he always knows somebody, because they're that age. He's 19. Yeah. They know somebody that knows how to repair whatever it is that you're looking at. For them, it's like I was a long time ago. Just, that's easy, no problem. So fast forward to trying to help my mama when I'm not sure. I can only imagine the financial abuse, because I want to make it clear, because you had said that it's usually financial, how that could be so easily done.
Yeah.
And just the fact that y'all are willing to go to bat for people, especially in that situation.
Yeah, very sad cases. And then today, in terms of, some of what the middle school parents are dealing with and some of the children are dealing with is, again, learning about new things that they're not new.
Yeah.
They're new to me.
That's
right.
right.
And the driver's license situation is, if you don't have a driver's license and you have an accident or something like that. And
that was actually a topic that came up last month.
Yeah,
correct?
It was. It's 2 days in jail if you have. If you thought you were driving home to take care of your kids or something like that, it's actually you're going to jail for 2 days. Mandatory, right? That's the way it is, right? You're going to go, you have no driver's license, you were driving, you got in an accident, it's 2 days. That's the way it is. Why didn't they have a driver's license? Right? So there are ways and there are pathways that you can get people into getting a driver's license. Yeah. So that's what we're focused on here. And the other part is, I think we've all seen this or heard it or read it in the newspaper or what have you, is folks that see or have been involved in, perpetrated a crime against them, and they don't want to say anything
because they lack documentation about something else.
I'm going to get in trouble, right? I'm
not only
going to get deported.
Yeah. Right? Not only have I been taken advantage of, also something other bad is going to happen.
Yeah. And so we learned about the U visas, and that's going to be a topic.
What is it again?
U visa, right? So I didn't know about it either. DA's office really knows a tremendous amount about this. And they really, it's if you see or if you're involved in a crime, and if there's some, understand maybe flux in terms of your situation, in terms of visa or deportation or something like that. If you are in a crime, you're involved in seeing a crime or it's been perpetrated against you, the U visa locks in at that point in time and says, you're here. Nobody can do anything to you. We want you to be a part of the process. We want to make sure that you feel comfortable in going to court and getting true justice for the situation that's at hand. So
and then you deal with whatever is afterwards.
And then at that point in time, people have, different agencies and everything like, hey, let's help you out. We didn't know that this person was even had a problem. Mm-hmm. Now it's like anything, like the 2 days, and then after you're in jail, then You don't have a driver's license, well, then you can't get insurance.
Right.
Well, then it's like one thing after another. It's a downward spiral. So
Well, then if you're working too, and then all of a sudden you're just in jail for 2 days.
And you just lost your job.
You just lost your job. That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
So these are the types of things that this youth safety program is. Although it's about the children, it's also first and foremost like it's a triage thing. It's like, let's help some of these parents get to a better place in their lives so they can in turn, and we can help them with their pathways and looking for a brighter future. Yeah. So
There's just a lot of heart. You can tell there's a lot of heart in the organization, the Cobb County Neighborhood Safety Commission. Are these things, as we wrap up this segment at least, are these things prevalent in other communities other than Cobb? Or
Yes.
is this kind of unique to Cobb?
No, it is. It's not unique to
Okay.
Cobb. No.
Okay.
No, it's everywhere. All of these issues. It's just
Well, no, I know the issues are, but I'm just talking about the actual
Oh,
commission.
the safety commission. Yeah. So not so much as what we have here.
See,
yeah.
but that's
yeah.
I feel like I've not. That's what I'm saying.
Not
Like,
so much.
Yeah, I don't feel like I've heard about that in surrounding
That's because we have
communities.
Jeff, though.
Well, that's right, because he's leading the charge, and I get
That's
it.
right.
But every community needs a Jeff. You know what I mean?
We
Like,
do, yeah.
like where do we get our own Jeff? You know?
But I would so just back up here. But it's because we have great partners in public safety. I mean,
Like
I
Daniel.
work like Daniel, but I mean the police,
Like Zachary.
the
The
fire,
police,
the sheriff's office, DAs, everybody is all a part of it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when we come back, let's talk about that, the way the commission supports law enforcement and some of the things that y'all have going on and some of the big plans for 2024. Does it seem crazy that we're talking about what's coming up next year?
It does seem crazy.
Holy cow. We'll continue on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug Cowart. You're listening to Back Your Blue with Daniel Matalon. He's the CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds. He's the reason this show is on the air, and we're glad that you're listening.
Extra 106.3 and A Second Chance Bail Bonds are here to back your blue. Now back to the show on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Welcome back to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug Cowart, along with Daniel Matalon. He's the CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds. We've got Jeff Wood. He is the chairman of the Cobb County Neighborhood Safety Commission. And as a matter of fact, we have Zachary Hiatt. He is the vice chair, new to the commission, but is so busy, just like everybody else already, just jumping in head first into the pool. I want to talk about something that y'all do, and that is initiatives and ways that you support law enforcement in getting messages out. And you were telling me during the break about Indian Americans, people who are from Asian descent, Indian Americans, not Native Americans, who are the target oftentimes, and most people have never heard of why.
Yeah, and this is where we work with the police as well, local police as well as state and some federal agencies as well, because these are folks that are targeted specifically, and they're gangs, organized gangs down in Central and South America that do all their homework, and this pops up like clockwork. It's like once every 3 years or something like that. Boom, here it comes again, right? So they've done all their homework down there. They've done their internet searches. They found out where Indian Asians, sole proprietors, people who own their own business, maybe they're lawyers or doctors or dentists, or maybe they have jewelry stores or what have you. And so they look and they say, hey, where are these people living? So some of them live here in Cobb County. Others are around Atlanta. There's
throughout Metro Atlanta.
Throughout Atlanta, and then other parts of the country as well. This is why this kind of, and then there are targets in different parts of the world, but I'm not involved in that. But so they really are, they come in, then they scout out the house. They actually sit there on your street and look and to see what is your pattern.
Yeah,
when
what's
are
your
you
schedule?
living? When are you coming? Right. And so these things, and so what the police had asked for as these things popped up again is there a way that the Neighborhood Safety Commission could reach out to this target, unfortunately, folks that are really under the microscope by these gangs, right? And they're coming in, they're doing burglaries, some robberies. It is turned into when someone didn't leave the house when they thought they were going to leave the house, or maybe one person left, one person was left behind. it escalates into a home invasion.
Yeah, because somebody's there.
So someone's then, tied up and brought into the bathroom and what have you. So the police said, hey, look, can you help us get, and we got auditorium of people, once after another, right, is these folks that are saying, what do I do? Do I buy a gun? They typically, this part of our society doesn't typically buy guns, doesn't usually have large dogs, right? So what do I do? And so the police and some of the federal agencies, right, gave great tips. I mean, people walked out of there, each one of these meetings, unfortunately, feeling like now I know what to do and what not to do, right? And in some cases, you've probably heard about this, but, vary the way that you go to work because maybe they're going to target you at home. Maybe they're going to target you at your place of work, right? So the police, very, very smart, a lot of training. They have just a ton of experience. All you have to do is engage and get these communities together, get the public safety together with the community members that are at risk and have them communicate with each other, ask questions, get to feel comfortable with each other, because it's that evening, right, that a lot of the work gets done. But it's afterwards. It's like when we had gang awareness and prevention, or if you have a number of different things that have to do with personal issues of getting molested or attacked or raped or something like that. People don't want to talk about that in public, but it's really afterwards is that we've been able to make the connection, been able to provide a lot of information, get people very comfortable, but that they feel comfortable with, who do I call? Who do I contact when I want to really speak about this? Because it might be later in the evening they cordon off somebody in the hall and go, hey, can I talk to you about this situation? Or it might be let me just get the card. I'll talk it over with my family and my friends or whatever, then I'll get back to you. So it's been great, and it's a great working relationship, and I think it has done a lot for these communities. And so we're always looking for, we don't, hopefully people aren't always under attack like this, but this is such a specific thing that we could really go out to these particular groups of individuals and businesses and what have you, and get them together and get them in a better place.
Yeah, it's good. And that's a wonderful thing for the Cobb County Neighborhood Safety Commission to be focused on, because, I mean, it's right there in the sweetheart, man. Just people need guidance. They need help, and oftentimes don't know where to get it. So bravo for doing that. As we wrap up this last segment, I want to bring in something that was brought up a moment ago while we were in the break, and I think it's good too. And I think, Zachary, you had brought it up, is guiding youth to maybe public service or public service jobs, whether it's the fire department, whether it's the police department, or maybe it's just volunteering for the Neighborhood Safety Commission. But it is all about telling kids that exists and showing them the value of it.
Yeah, so we're just trying to educate the youth that, one thing I always like to talk about is you don't have to necessarily be a firefighter or a police officer. You can be, but there are a lot of other jobs within the city and the county governments that everybody else can do. So it's more about showing kids the path and showing them how they can do different things, because we're trying to find a child who, is interested in a specific topic and trying to find where that specific topic will lead them in a career. So, just because they like computers doesn't mean we're going to tell them they should be a firefighter. So, but that doesn't mean they couldn't work in IT for the police department or cybersecurity or something like that.
911.
Right. You could work at 911.
The real-time crime unit or what have you.
And it's basically just to try to find as many children as we can to put them on the right path for the future.
Yeah, and there's so many kids out there that are looking for that are craving that direction. I remember being 18 years old, and I kind of knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to get there, and I didn't have anybody to ask.
Right.
So just having somebody to ask is incredible value. Just knowing that Jeff or Zachary or Daniel's out there that you can go to and say, hey, I'm not sure. Well,
I do
Daniel
think that's a big part about why we're cultivating these relationships.
Jeff razzing Daniel. Right now, you don't see it on the air. That's why the laughter. But say that again.
No, you're fine. I was just saying, I think that is a good reason why we're doing this now, and we're cultivating those relationships. We want the community to trust us. We understand that law enforcement and the community don't have the best relationship right now. So we're trying to cultivate and show the community that we are here for them. We can be here as your ally. You don't have to be against us. We don't have to be against you. We're in this together. We're trying to focus on your children so that way we can create a better life and a better community for Cobb County.
There you go. Final thought here, Jeff. How do folks learn more about the Cobb County Neighborhood Safety Commission and all the things that y'all are doing and a part of?
Yeah, I think really right now the most up-to-date information is on, believe it or not, there's a Facebook page for the Cobb County Neighborhood Safety Commission, and our DA's office actually has been helping us get that up to date and what have you. We've been more focused on the outward stuff and not so much on the keeping track.
Some of those kids maybe be able to help.
Right, yeah,
yes, and
Clerical
we do.
jobs.
We have a program for them. We do.
That's exactly right. So find the Facebook page. That's the best way to find information.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, good enough. Jeff, thank you so much. Zach, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Daniel.
Daniel, absolutely, for supporting great programs like this and putting them on the radio. So we appreciate that and all the work y'all do at Second Chance Bail Bonds and the adjacent businesses as well. For everybody here, we appreciate you taking the time to listen and hope you'll come back and join us next week. My name is Tug on Extra 106.3.